It's 98 degrees in the shade. It is so freaking hot right now. I can't even fucking believe this. It's a glorious 98 degrees. Too hot for even hoes to come out in their booty shorts. One pair. The whole damn day. But anyway, the important thing that came up today was somebody actually asked about a very interesting author and asked if I had heard about him. And he got the name wrong, but he had said that Reagan would carry this guy's book around all the time. Thatcher as well was very into him. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, Von Eyck? What? Then I found out F.A. Hayek is actually, was it Augusto Friedrich von Hayek? Apparently, formally, we've anglicized his name, possibly. Didn't know that. But anyway, something that came up, he was asking me about him. And so I ended up having to tell this guy. I was like, easily, probably one of the most important books I have. Over the last 10 years, it's become one of the most important books in American politics that nobody knows everyone's reading. And then I got into, now I thought you meant von Mises and Human Action, which is probably one of the best works of human intelligence. But I started, so then I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about it. I'm like, yes, The Road to Serfdom, the book that very few people know is one of the most influential books on popular culture right now that the college educated don't really know. Now, why? Because, and this is a video now made for women who want to meet decent men. The book by F.A. Hayek, Road to Serfdom, is one of the most important books you could read to understand why men should never, ever, ever even consider touching their dick, letting you know they have a dick if you humor socialism. This is actually one of these things that's very important that you never hear anybody like, you see, Hassan Piker should be refuting F.A. Hayek. People like Charlie Kirk, like made Hassan. It's just the same thing where he's just, it's childish girl brain where it's just he just says a bunch of things that supposedly capitalism has done. It farts, it stinks, it didn't wash the dishes, it, da-da-da-da-da. Or socialism, you could absolutely say, no, they instituted this specific type of government, and by the end of it, you have mass democide, that the government started to kill off its own citizens. So F.A. Hayek got into, why are socialists like this? And he charted what happened in the 30s. Who were these people? Who were these guys in the 20s and the 30s positing socialism? And so Hayek got into, the socialists were always, kind of goons and racists and weirdos and rich guys who wanted to, and failures who wanted to make the world do as they wish. And so he goes, socialism is a system that almost will always bring the worst people to the top. It's made that way. That you actually have to be a bad person in the first place, and then to succeed in a socialist system, you actually have to be an exceedingly evil person. And so this is something that people like Hassan, and then this fascination women in general of the last generation or two have with socialism, really is one of these things of, because you guys never actually read what people, your critics, you only read your own press, you can't really understand that people got your number. They got you dialed in. It's like Destiny is never really going to be popular outside of his gaming streams, because he's there's too much of what he thinks that too many socialists would agree with, and that's it. It's then considered this kind of thing like, oh, okay, so he's a socialist. It's just that he's trying, or he's a leftist. He's just trying to figure out how to be a leftist and not have the socialists take all his stuff or something. Like they never really get it. And so he wanted to really touch on, Hayek really kind of made sure to kind of explain this about how socialism ends up poisoning politics, and how these people during the 20s and 30s in Germany, that it was very, very difficult for the socialists to make anything function correctly. So eventually they had to blame mostly either quote-unquote capitalists and or Jews. Because even the Soviets ended up eventually openly discriminating against Jews once they instituted diversity. And that's totally correct. The Soviet Union was where we get affirmative action from. We get affirmative action from the Soviet Union. Because Romanian V got into this, and then I found more information about how one of the most important things about the Soviet Union was was bringing people from the outlying regions of Russia, which are almost weeks by vehicle away from the western borders, or months by vehicle, and so Moscow would have all these people from all these other parts of Russia, Siberia, Mongolia, such like Buryatia, Latakia, stuff like that. And so it's just now one of these things that I just wanted to make sure, because I saw, this, it's just so sad with people like Charlie Kirk is still, but they got it. They got him. They gotta fuck with him. They gotta fuck with Hassan and other people like that, because people like that, what it is okay. All socialist movements are actually supported by industrialists at some stage. There's no way that they could afford to do what they do. There's never really a grassroots socialist kind of movement. It is something that certain industrialists basically go to a bunch of goon socialists and give them an offer they can't refuse. Germany has the famous thing of the Bush family. The Bush family supported Hitler, and what happened was key to the change of what happened with you guys on the left was you guys on the left were the ones who reminded everyone of this. So a lot of people, especially that's what started to make a lot of people start to leave the Republican Party and become libertarians, because they finally realized that's what had happened to the party. It had been taken over by the masters of war, by literally investors in war, and these guys who had invested in their future by creating the Pentagon. So it's all just a canard. It's that major industrialists just simply want a way of controlling markets. They want to cheat. They don't want something. They don't want market exchange. That's what capitalism fundamentally is, really. And so they're getting what they want right now. Right now, all you Democrats are going along with handing the entire economy over to about 5 companies and about 3 people. If you do what we say on the right, we might be able to kind of break their hold on things, especially if with Agenda 47 Project 2025 taking apart the federal government. Because without a central authority, how do you have authoritarianism? You see, none of these people will ever be really honest about any of this stuff to a lot of you. And so for a lot of you women who you're looking for a good man, you have to know what good men read. You have to know what good men think. You don't like really good men. You like men who agree with you, because you're a liberal woman, so you're a bad person, and you need to improve yourself and become better, and become more like have the wisdom of an old woman in the body of a young, beautiful woman, and then you win, instead of being a foolish, dumbass thought. Good luck.